But maybe I just haven't taken anything important enough for that to be an issue. That might be also a factor. I haven't, photographed Naomi Campbell doing something she shouldn't. So,
Welcome everybody to another Outside Crowd podcast, and we're here with Billy.
Hello.
Ryan.
Yo.
I'm delighted to be here with Rob from Rob Got the Shot.
hello.
It's not actually Rob Got the Shot. It's Rob
There is a gap,
from
there's a space.
Got the Shot. But Rob does a lot of the photographs. We've met you through Corkers.
Yes.
And you do a lot of work with those guys, but you always take some really good pictures. I remember seeing them at their sort of open days and things. So we thought it'd be great to have a chat and find out a bit more about you, what you do, how your company works, and how you got involved with Corkers and the outside sort of environment. So, how did you get into photography to start with?
As a hobby initially, which I think a lot of people in my line of work do. My uncle was into photography, borrowed his camera one day, and just sort of didn't ever want to give it back, basically.
Really? Wow.
And I was in a job that I absolutely hated. Insurance, I don't mind saying that. I don't mind offending the insurance crowd, if there is one out there. And it just wasn't for me. And I thought I need to start making paths towards doing something different. And at the time, the only thing I could think of was, do you know what? I love photography. I love making videos, and could I make a career of this? And so I basically moonlighted, I think is the term. So on any days off, any sick days, any weekends, I had a camera in my hand and I was trying to just take pictures, whether that was paid or unpaid, just to try and build a portfolio, and built what I kind of affectionately called the Fuck You Fund, which was a big fund of money that enough so that if I wanted to just say fuck you, I could and go and do it. So I think it brought a bit of fun to calling it that a little bit. And that's exactly what I did. I did that about 5 years ago now. Just said, do you know what, I'm going to give it a go. I had a part-time job alongside of it because I was petrified I couldn't pay my mortgage initially. And so, it's been kind of going from there ever since, and now it's just my full-time thing and has been for a couple of years and going well.
Excellent.
So what sort of area of photography were you interested in when you started taking pictures, like landscapes or portraits or what? Yeah,
so it was initially landscapes, but also motorsport. That was what my uncle was interested in.
Oh, wow.
And it was his camera that I took at a motorsport event, and fascinated by how, hopefully this doesn't go over anyone's head, but the way you change your shutter speed would be the amount of blur you get on the tyres or how sharp the driver is, sort of thing. And I think I was interested not only in the art form, not to sound fancy, but also the technical side of things. If you change this, it would have a relationship after that. That's how I got into it. And then it was anything and everything that anyone was willing to let me do, basically. Even now, it's a real diverse range of different businesses. I don't have a niche. A lot of people know me for landscaping side of things, I guess, but that's actually quite a small part of my business these days.
Yeah. So are you entirely self-taught?
Yes, yeah. Oh, wow. I mean, I don't think anyone is ever self-taught in a sense. Like, I've leaned on a lot of people. I've spent money with people that are better than me to try and upskill me, asking lots of questions. People have taught me. I wouldn't say it's all me. I've got a lot of gratitude for a lot of different people to get me to that point.
But it's not like you took like that academic route of saying, like, I'm going to study photography at university or anything like that, or art or whatever, because ultimately talent is inside you anyway, isn't it? So
yeah, but I think the harder you work, the luckier you get. I think is what I always subscribe to, and I didn't go that academic route. It obviously have some merit, but I think with a job like I do, people say, how did you get better? And I say, a lot of mistakes and figuring out I don't want to do that again. And I think you don't need to go to university to achieve that. You can make your own mistakes in real life. Don't need a big debt and a student loan and a headache to get that. So the school of mistakes, I would say I went to.
Yeah, no, that's it's very.
I think I went to that one as well, to be fair.
I'm still in it, yeah.
Well, your company, so you do photography and film?
Yeah.
And it's all for small businesses and promos and that sort of thing, or?
Yeah, exactly that. The reason I do both, some people stick to one or the other. I think there is merit to that because you can be very good at one, but I find a lot of businesses, if they're paying one a lot of money and they're taking time out of their business, because I don't think people realise, you can't really operate your business in the same way you would normally operate it when you're having a film crew there or a photographer there.
Yeah, that's right.
They kind of want to squeeze the lemon, so to speak, and they want to get the most out of that day. So the natural question, can you do video? Could you do some photos while you're there? It happens so often that you might as well offer both.
Fair.
But it's all small businesses, whether that's promotions, it's doing testimonials. Depending on what type of business they are, lends itself more to different styles of videos. But we don't have one style, we don't have one type of business that we service. It's anything and everything.
Have you done any tree surgeons?
Yes.
Oh, you have?
Yeah, I have, yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Was that just like a promo video, or?
Yeah, so it was for a company that they've got a landscaping arm to their business, they've got a maintenance arm to the business, they have tree surgery arms to the business. So, it was for them. It was kind of like a promo. We did some little FAQ videos, a little bit about, how they had to shut the road or how they had to manage those sorts of things. And that often comes up with a lot of businesses. And like, if anyone's doing their own content, I would encourage them to do is like, think about what are the most frequent questions that you get asked, or ask someone that is, clueless about your business. What questions do you have? Because that's probably what questions your customers have. And if you can answer them in the best possible way, it's a great little promotional tool for you to show that you're the expert, show you're approachable. I think that's a quite a common one that any business can use.
Excellent. So how did the sort of like the business, how do you literally start the business? Because I imagine if you're coming from the insurance industry, and from what you said, there's a mortgage and money you've got to be paid, and you built your sort of slush fund, you've got to have a certain amount of work coming in. How did you go about developing your client base to start with? How did you go about that?
Initially, I knew I needed a portfolio. I didn't think anyone would hire me off the basis of, I promise you I can take photos. So I messaged 5 businesses a day, every day, Saturday, Sunday. I even did it Christmas Day and Boxing Day. That's how dedicated I was to it. Not that anyone opened it and they probably got pissed off that I actually messaged them. But I would initially just say, I'll come for free. I'll just do anything. And then...
So that was like direct email to these people?
Yeah, via Instagram.
Were they people you knew, or was it just
no,
you sort of like thought, these ones I want to work with?
Anyone. Yeah. Literally anyone. I was not fussy at all.
Yeah.
And I would take a radius. I would like find an industrial estate on Google Maps, and I'd email all the businesses. I'd message them all on Instagram, and at that point it was a numbers game.
Yeah.
And some would come in, and when I felt confident enough, which is a loaded thing to say because I often don't feel 100% confident in any job that I do, if I'm honest, but I would start charging the smallest amount of money, and then once one person paid me, I was like, okay, I know that I'm at least worth that. And so I would try and kind of up it a little bit each time, and someone gave me great advice when I first started, which was, if you don't feel nervous about the price you're giving, you're not charging enough. And then I leaned on other people, so I would subcontract to other people. I would actively look for people that were better than me, and I would say, right, can I come and work with you? Can I, carry the bags, make the tea? I don't care what I do, even if they were younger than me, or even if they had less experience, I would still do that, and I still do it now. If ever I need a subcontractor on a job, I will hire someone that I believe is better than me. Because not only are they doing the job that I need them to do, but I'm also learning at the same time.
Brilliant bit of advice, that one.
But to go back to your question, I had a part-time job as well that was kind of supplementing my income. I joined the On-Call Fire Service, which is quite unique.
Good calendar as well when you got
Well, if I'm the photographer, I've got to take the pictures, haven't I? Put the self-timer on, strip off, and then get in the photo.
So that kind of means something, okay?
Yeah, a bit blurry because I was rushing to get into it.
Bit blurry, that's your excuse.
Well, yeah, in the right places, definitely. So yeah, I did that, and that really suited me because it was a part-time job. I would set my own hours. If I got a shoot, I can't be on today, or I would do it overnight. So some days I was working day and I was on call overnight, and I was going back to another shoot, or I was editing, which, as you could probably imagine, was quite taxing, but very thrilling at times as well. So I did that until a point where I thought, do you know what? Actually, this is getting in the way now, and let it go. That was always the aim. I never joined because I thought, this is my career and this is what I want to do. It was always a stopgap for me, and when that stopgap became, a task, a chore, then I thought, now's the time to leave.
Yeah. It certainly sounds like a really interesting sort of profession. And when you sort of jumped into it, did you find that you were getting enough work to start with, or was it a bit of a hard churn getting the amount of money coming in so you could rely less on the part-time job?
It sort of grew organically, I would say. It wasn't a point where I thought, do you know what, I'm earning enough. It was only when the fire service sort of almost became mature that I thought, actually, I've got more than enough to do here. Yeah. And I did exactly the same thing as I did when I was trying to quit my initial job, was that I built up enough money so that if 6 months happens with no work, I've got enough leeway to pivot and do something else. So I thought, I sort of sat down and had a conversation with myself, thought, I know you're kind of scared to do this, but worst case scenario, if you have no work, you can live for 6 months, you can pay all the bills. If you can't find a job in 6 months, what are you doing? I sort of, that was the worst outcome. And I thought, that's not even the worst outcome, because I think I could do something in those 6 months. And I thought, you know what, now's the time, sort of thing.
So who do you, I don't know if you give clients names and things away, or the types of organisations, who are your sort of key clients? Do you have a lot of repeat clients, or is it mainly sort of individual commissions, people coming up?
A bit of both. Sometimes you'll do an individual commission and then you'll hang on to them. They love the work that you do. They can see the value in it, which is ultimately up to them what they do with it. I have no control over it at that point. A big part of my business is based on one lucky phone call that I had with an agency. I did a video for my accountant. I don't think they weren't even my accountant at the time. They were just recommended to someone. And one of their clients was an agency that dealt with healthcare companies. They service about 900 clients. And it just so happened that the current photographer or videographer that they had at the time pissed them off. And the owner had seen the video from the accountant that we both share and asked for my number. And had a phone call, and suddenly I've got access to majority of their clients, and they've sent me up and down the country, abroad even. Wow. On shoots for them. It's not, I wouldn't say it's the kind of work that lights me up. It's physiotherapists, it's chiropractors, but it's certainly kind of become almost half my turnover is that side of the business. And you can make it more enjoyable by finding ways to light it differently, or let's get an interesting shot that we've never got before. So it's one of those that has had a huge impact on my business just because someone else pissed someone else off.
Yeah. I'd imagine it's interesting. I imagine with something like that, which probably sounds quite mundane, but trying to find a creative angle on it to make it interesting to other people is an art in itself, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think that is a huge part of my business, is not just taking photos and videos. I think that's such a small part of it. It's more the advice piece around it. So a lot of these, I don't mind saying it, some of these people that are maybe a chiropractor, a physiotherapist, they've trained a lot, they've got degrees coming out their arse, and they want to seem smart, and they want to appeal to sometimes other, people in their own profession. And my kind of role in there is how to distill what they want to say and make it sound great to the general population. Like, here's what I think you're trying to say, or here's how I think you can shorten this, or I think people understand it more if you use this word rather than that word, sort of thing. So
you help them with that
yeah,
sort of expression and how they actually want to, when they're talking about their company, you'll help run through and with that.
100%.
Because that's quite different in a way, isn't it? Just from filming them and photographing them, there's a lot
It's like
more
consultancy, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
it is. There's a lot more into it.
Yeah, I've had clients say that you should charge for that, but my opinion on it is that if I make them sound better, if it sounds more presentable, if the video does better, they're more inclined to hire me. I might get a recommendation off the back of that, and so I think it serves the business, and a lot of times that's why people bring us back, because they think I don't know how to phrase this, but I know Rob will help me to craft it, and it will come out all right in the
Make
end.
them sound professional.
That's it.
Yeah,
It definitely makes me sound professional.
I was going to
Calls me
say,
that.
you two boys need to have a word.
He's been doing me wonders for years, man.
some
It's magic.
businesses are harder than the others, I must say.
yeah.
Especially becomes like a therapist, isn't it?
Yeah.
I tell you, one thing that just came to my mind actually was, and I suppose it comes down to sort of like pricing and things. And if you're producing photographs and things for certain companies, how does your fee model work for things like that? Do you have things like do you license photographs, or do you just say, right, I'll take photographs and there you go, they're yours afterwards? Or do you have any, sort of like copyright issues or licensing issues or do you make it a lot more simpler than that?
Well, I think because I got into it, in the last 5 years, I've had a lot of people ask me that. And when someone first asked me, what's your licensing like with the photos? I had no fucking clue what they were on about, to be honest. I was straight on Google, like, what the hell does this mean? And I think it's quite an archaic thing in that, you'd have rights on it for where you can use it. I believe, you're probably asking the wrong person on this, but I retain the rights of that original image because I took it. However, my view has always been, do you know what? If more people that see it, the better. I had one recently where I'd filmed a load of content for a landscaping company. They worked really closely with a garden designer. The garden designer was redoing their website, and a lot of the projects that we'd shot were that garden designer's work. And I could be strict and say, no, I must reshoot them again, or the garden designer must pay a fee for these things. Partly because I have a great relationship with that landscaping company, I said, let her have them. They asked whether that was all right, and I said, it's absolutely fine. I ended up getting a job out of it from the garden designer anyway, whether that was through guilt or whether it was, or they'd seen the work and thought, you know what, we need something a bit different from what you've already taken. But the same goes with, I'll do lots of jobs for other landscapers, and they say, do you mind if we share them with the manufacturer of that pergola or the installer of that pool? And I don't know whether it's naive or not, but I say, yeah, go for it. And if they share them on Instagram, just tag me, that would be nice. Give me the credit for it. But if you never know who could see it, and if you stop that in its tracks, you never know where that could go. So why not just let it run?
Yeah, but because I always sort of wonder though whether there's maybe someone else is profiting off your work. I suppose it's just when that sort of thing kicks into. Yeah, but then if someone else takes it, and then
that you've paid for the images to be taken.
Yeah.
And I thought that you would own them. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's what I would assume.
I think the rules are that you own the edited content. A lot of people say, or companies say, can you send us the raw files? And that's always a flat out no, because what you think is a raw file and what I know as a raw file are two very different things. You would get it and it'd be unrecognisable from what you see on a screen.
Yeah.
You know, the audio wouldn't have been mastered. It wouldn't have been colour graded. It wouldn't have been stabilised. And so, and you could put something out that is a raw file, and that could be very damaging for me.
Yes.
The complete inverse of what I'm saying about, feel free to share all the edited images that you want. Don't share the raw product, because it's not how it was ever intended.
No,
It's like a landscaper saying, you know, giving the client, I'll you know, use my services and I'll supply you the cement, the sand, the paving slabs, then do what you want with it. You know, you wouldn't want them to call it an RTW landscape patio, would you? Because what the fuck are they going to do with it? Like, it's the same principle.
Yeah, it makes so much sense. Yeah.
That's interesting. Because I always wondered, you know, like that sort of legal side about how it protects you and all that. So that's quite interesting, and it's quite refreshing as well. I mean, not that I know the ins and outs of it, but it's nice that there's that ability to share those pictures.
But maybe I just haven't taken anything important enough for that to be an issue. That might be also a factor. I haven't, you know, photographed Naomi Campbell doing something she shouldn't. So, you know, it's all pretty low level stuff.
So when you take photos and videos and that as well, you will do the editing, and you'll do, so if people want them sort of like edited in a certain way, you can do that. So if they're like quite dark pictures or grainy or atmospheric, you'll do that as part of the service.
I can do, but there comes a point where you'll hire me for my style. You know, if you want something different, go hire someone that does that differently, because I can certainly get behind a certain theme. So, you know, if something's, say I'm doing an interview and I'm lighting an interview, if the company are doing something, say like they offer a health product, and that health product, someone was real down in the dumps, they took this health product and now they are feeling much better, and they were in a real depressed state at that time, you would light it accordingly and make sure that it was kind of quite somber and quite, you know, serious, versus something that is, I don't know, you're doing a ballet school or something like that, you'd have it quite what you would call high key, it'd be light bright. So we certainly do those things. We'd like to what the mood is, but if you say to me, I want you to do the style of this other photographer, for example, sometimes I will say, that's not my style, go hire someone who is, because I will do my best and you might not like it, and it's going to cause a whole host of issues that, and I feel like I've developed a style enough now that I'm happy with, majority of my clients seem happy with. So if I get one person that says, I want something different, what's the point?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know how to describe your style? So if people are listening in and they're saying, oh, this guy sounds good. Do you know?
No. Well, we lost them then.
do you know how to sort of categorise it at all? Or
I would say...
Probably quite a hard question to answer. But.
Yeah, I would say it's a clean commercial look, I would say.
Yeah.
But that's purely been because of the types of businesses that we do. I work with small businesses, and so it needs to look better than it is, better than reality, you know, and that's not just from the edit of the picture. That might be, I turn up to an office and there's post-it notes everywhere, there's pens everywhere. I'll tidy that desk so it looks more clean, professional, and that often people say, I want a certain style. There's so much more that goes into it than just the editing. It's time of day if you're working outside, it's the lighting that you use, it's the way the person's dressed, it's the environment they're in. There's so many other factors that go into a style than it is just slapping a preset on it for photos.
Well, if you're taking any pictures here, you could welcome to get the Hoover out if you want. Tidy up a bit. That would be a big help. Tell me some of the good shoots that you've had. What have you had? Any memorable ones that go down in Got the Shot history?
In terms of
just
like locations,
anything,
or...
yeah. What would you sort of, when you look back and you think of the ones you've done, you thought, yeah, that was a really good one. Really enjoyed that. Great people, either great people to work with, great set, something amusing happened.
I mean, two factors I would say. Some are generally based on the type of people, more so that if you get on with the people, you have a good laugh. They're the ones that are most enjoyable. And sometimes it's a case of you might have hated the shoot, but you love the result that you got at the end of it. I wouldn't say any stick out in mind in particular because I kind of love all of them. But I think the thing that sticks out and is probably most impressive to people is getting to travel for your work. You know, I've been to Chicago, New York. I've been to Stockholm, Geneva.
Wow.
And that's all on someone commissioning you to go over there and
Which is, you know, incredible. Really,
cool.
it's
That's
it's
cool.
a great opportunity to travel the world and it be tax deductible. You know, it's two things I love to do.
Yeah, exactly. Rightly so.
So how does that work? Where did you go in Chicago?
So Chicago was an event, and that was actually me subcontracting to another business.
Yeah.
And generally how these things work is that you do an event in London for them or the UK, and then they take it abroad, or you find out that that company has different events elsewhere in the world and you tap them up and give them a nudge and say, "Do you know, I could do that too." You know, it's not too much of a trouble. But Chicago was an event. I've worked 3 times in New York, I think. All kind of different events. Amsterdam I've done a couple of times. But yeah, they're all extremely boring events. So don't feel like it's they're not like, you know, shooting fashion models. It is all corporate events about things you do not care or want to care about.
But it doesn't matter when you got a trip to Chicago.
Exactly, you've got a day either side to enjoy yourself. It becomes irrelevant, you know. It's the rough with the smooth, really.
That's good, isn't it?
Is there anything that you haven't done that you would like to do? I don't know, things I was just thinking like concert photography and stuff like that. Is there any areas you'd like to get into? Well, you might have got into that already, but...
Yeah, I've done a lot of things. One of the things was do kind of like motorsport stuff, kind of go full circle, and I've done that. I made a promo video for a small race team, which was great, and they got a sponsorship from Scalextric after that, which was like
cool.
a pretty cool story. Is there something I would love to do? A documentary on something that I'm, you know, really passionate about, and I guess the dream is to do a project that is relying on money or a client, really, which I think everyone that gets into this business after they've been doing it a while kind of longs for that. Basically, no pressures, you've got full control over what
you're doing.
yeah, so it's a passion project. So yeah, something
A doco.
Yes, I was going to say, is that a
interesting.
natural progression to take it into sort of like filmmaking of some sort, documentary filmmaking?
I've never done it, so I wouldn't know, to be honest. But I mean, you know, you're either going to self-fund it or you get confidence enough in someone that you know via your other work that they say, you're the person I'm going to commission to do this. So
Yeah.
I'd imagine so. Breaking into the feature film world, I think, is a completely different thing. And having no experience in that, I couldn't tell you. But something like a
I
documentary.
think, documentary is more that sort of level.
Yeah,
type of thing,
it's a bit more kind of run and gun. It's a bit more capture what you see at the time. And if you've got enough money behind you and you want to self-fund it, you could do what you want, really.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's pretty limited. But having the time, having the means are 2 things that are always...
Always going to be out the kilter there, definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
So how we have to ask, how did you get in with our mutual friend Corkers? Ollie's a good lad, isn't he? And you've done quite a bit of work with them, haven't you? Always seen them.
Yeah.
Nice bunch.
So I went to school with Ollie.
Hey.
Yeah.
Many years ago. We played in the same football team for a little while, and it's got to be kind of 5-6 years ago now. Probably one of my first proper clients, I would say.
Yeah.
And that came about because I had been on an Interrail trip, which is basically a train trip across Europe, if anyone doesn't know.
Yeah.
And I posted some kind of like travel content that I'd done on YouTube, and Ollie kind of got back in touch and said, we're trying to do our stuff on Corker TV. We were filming it ourselves. We bought a camera and stuff like this, but we're struggling to keep the consistency up. And so kind of invited me in to do kind of a bit of a trial, and just kind of went from there. You know, many videos, many vlogs, many adverts, many podcasts, live talks, you name it in between that, basically.
That's great, isn't it? I mean, I think that's what I like about him. He's set up a nice business, and he's got lots of other people involved, and he helps lots of other people. So it's God, we're always running him up, aren't we?
You know
but
that.
it's good. It's like
No,
a
he's a
nice
good lad.
little-
He's top drawer. He's
Yeah, he
top
does some
drawer.
great stuff. So it's nice to have someone around it that supports the industry.
It's been nice every time I've come to one of our jobs. You know, they've been captured so well. You know, each element that we're trying to do, you've really shown off each part, and it's like, you know, it's what's really interesting about you and what I like working with you. The reason I like working with you is because, you know, you'll be interested of why we're doing what we're doing on site. You know, say for example the pointing. You know, it's you know, like I think today you're on site and I overheard you talking about how do the guys point at the end of the slab, the oversail, and you know it was being packed in, and Ollie was telling you how to strike it, but you were genuinely interested. I could see you going, right, now I'm going to record that, you know, or like I'm going to look at that and I understand that's a skill, that's an art, that's a bit of detail, you know, and I saw you doing that and I was like, that's why we work together so well.
It's actually because I'm starting up a landscape.
Please do, and I'll take photos in left. I would love to take photos of him everywhere.
This is all planning to overthrow you.
You don't overthrow the king.
But no, I think that really helps. Is I'm a very curious person. If there's whatever I do, like I say, I go to some of these mundane events, I'll still ask questions because I'm just interested in how the world works, and I think that can help me when I'm interviewing people. Say, for example, on these shoots, and they're trying to get their point across. I'm generally interested. You know, how does this work? Why do you do this? And they're pretty much the questions that need to be asked anyway. So
yeah. I think it's fascinating. I think it's great to see someone that's actually, taken that leap from a secure job and a secure career, which it no doubt could have been, into something which is essentially your passion and things that you're very passionate about and want to develop. So I think that's great. We're coming towards the end of our time on this podcast, but I suppose if people want to get in touch with you, where do they find you?
Website is probably the easiest. gottheshot.co.uk. You can go on there. You can find me on Instagram, although I'm very much trying not to spend too much time on Instagram, just from a personal point of view, for my own sanity. So, but you can message me on there. It's Got the Shot Media on Instagram. But yeah, email's the best. My phone number's on there. My email's on there, so you can get in touch that way.
And they cover most sort of industries, always up for a discussion about what you can do. And what you can provide.
That's what I would say. Always try and have an initial discussion with people. I'll even give you some initial advice, whether you run with my service or you try and do it on your own. In that sense, I'm curious to know about different businesses, what your challenges and problems, and how potentially my services could solve some of those.
Yeah. So I certainly think they can. I think the good quality pictures, especially on websites, make a big difference, and they really, really do. So, but no, thank you very much indeed for your time coming on. It's
good to see you, and it's always good to see you wearing socks that say right and left on them.
I actually thought this was a video podcast, so I wanted to explain to the listeners I'm actually wearing Gucci head to toe.
You're really not.
I'm that successful as a photographer, I can afford it.
You got right and left on your sock. How funny is that?
And one's upside down.
It is.
That's what you get when you buy socks off Temu.
And we just hope Ryan knows where he's right and left.
No, that's the thing. I need a pair of them.
But anyway, right, we're finishing up. So it's thanks. Yeah, thanks, Rob. Very, very much appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. And signing off from Ryan.
See you next time, team.
And from Billy.
See you later, guys.
Great stuff. And we'll catch you all next time on another Outside Crowd podcast.